Think it's too soon to start talking about holiday season spending? Hardly. The coming season is expensive, and that's why we should be thinking about it in advance. Here with some advice is Brian Betz, debt counselor with Money Mentors, a not-for-profit credit counseling service. Brian, so good to see you again.
As you as well, Shauna.
When is the right time to start financial planning for the holidays?
Do you want the ideal scenario?
Of course.
The ideal scenario is January the 15th.
Okay. Well, we're past that.
You've had a great Christmas. You've done your after Christmas shopping for decorations, wrapping, all the things that you might need for next year. You've figured out exactly how much you spent over the last holiday season, including all of those things that you don't usually think of: alcohol, entertaining, travel, all those sorts of things. You've divided it by 12, you've got a monthly number, and you've put it away in the bank, and you're ready to go.
Okay. So it's important to do it in advance, I'm hearing from you, and as early as possible in the year.
That's the ideal scenario, and there are a few people that do it, but not everybody is well organized. But the last thing that we want to see happen is that you don't have a plan and you just go into the holiday season, you end up putting stuff on the credit card, it doesn't get paid off in January. We have a lot of people that we see that, I mean, they're still paying off their Christmases from years and years and years ago because, again, it just continues to go on. They didn't have a plan going in.
Okay, and a big chunk of it for a lot of people is the gift giving, and that list can be so long for a lot of people if they let it get that way.
Yeah, and I think it's important, and this is something that I've always stressed, and I saw it in my own family, so it was role modeled for me, that as the demographic changes within your family and your circle, then I think that you have to be constantly on the lookout for making changes. So just because you bought a gift for your nephew Timmy when he was 12 years old, well, he's 24 now. You don't necessarily have to buy for him. So have some conversations with your family, with your friends, in terms of, you know, are we still going to buy? Do we want to put limits on it? How are we going to proceed with that? Because it's, again, I would rather see you spending time away from the mall, away from those crazy shopping parking lots, and spending time with family, with loved ones, doing things. And that, to me, is what Christmas is all about.
Oh, yeah, you don't always have to actually buy something that you can touch. You can give a gift of time with someone, for example.
Exactly. That's a very good suggestion. And so for your neighbor, you're going to shovel his walks, or you might have your grandma. Well, okay, here, you're going to spend time with them, or babysitting for your brother with his kids. The other thing I think is really important and that we've stressed is making things. So whether you're a baker, a sewer, I'm a woodworker, I make things for people and give away as Christmas gifts. To me, for most people, if you're like me at least, you know, if you need something, you just go and buy it, okay? So to get another sweater from Uncle Joe, really, I don't really care about that. But if he made something for me, then I would think that's great. It could be cookies, it could be a jar of antipasto, it could be pickles, it could be a piece of decoration, whatever it could be. But to me, that he took the time and made it for me is very important.
Right, of course. Brian, you touched on it earlier. There's so many other things to think about in the holiday season aside from gifts, you know, beverages, food, hosting events, decorations. How can we adjust our living budgets now then to start saving for all of that?
Well, again, it's important to understand what you have spent in the past so that you can, again, live within your means and put money aside for that. Now, you don't have to do it in January. You can do it now. But again, you want to make sure that you're going in with an idea of what you can afford to spend so that it doesn't go on the credit card and not get paid off. And so, you know, if you're traveling, then maybe you want to pull money from some other part of your budget to accomplish that. But again, going in with a plan, understanding what it would be. And the great thing about the financial software and stuff these days, it's easy to go to your credit card statement and see what you've spent, or to your debit card statement and see what you've spent. Or, you know, the other way, the old fallback is cash only. Because if you put money aside and you put it in an envelope and everything you spend at Christmas comes out of that envelope, you're going to know very quickly when you run out of money. And frankly, it's a lot more painful to pay with cash than it is to just punch in a PIN number.
Oh yeah, and you definitely keep track of it that way. Thank you, Brian. We hope a lot of people have learned from you. Again.
Merry Christmas.
In advance. We'll talk before then. Thank you. That's Brian Betz. He is debt counselor with Money Mentors, a not-for-profit credit counseling service.